What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a very special episode of Pete's Basement. We got Cheezeburger and Ramon here. Oh, that's like your first burp in like 5 weeks, bro.
Yeah, it is. It's been a while.
Yeah, I've been picking up the slack for you.
Yes, you have.
Shit. Guys, today, as we film, is June 6th, the 70th anniversary of D-Day, when the Allied forces stormed Normandy and began to liberate France from the Nazis. So to commemorate that, we have a lot of really cool special books from Zenith Press, like this Normandy, A Graphic History of D-Day, and they sent us a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to show you. Also, Ghost Wolf #1 came out a couple months ago, but we just got around to reviewing it, and it's friggin' awesome. We got Jirni #1, Big Trouble in Little China #1, we got Dresden Files Warcry 1, the new Vampirella is coming out, Rise of the Magi 1, The Superannuated Man #1, Original Sin #3, and Princess Ugg #1. Princess Ugg was actually real fun. Yeah. And I just want to say that I'm a dyslexic bastard. I totally thought the shit said Supernatural Man #1. So that was, I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? I thought you spelled the shit wrong there.
Yeah, no, I did.
Before we start, I want to thank our good friend For the Tiny, Lynn Morrow. Check out these things. She sent us these, the little Rocket Raccoon and Groot. I know you guys can't really see, but the stitching in Groot is like all different colors of brown.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it kind of matches old Cheezeburger's t-shirt there. Why don't you hold those up for the crew?
There you go.
Groot loops.
Thank you, T-Fury.
We got the answer and the winner of the X-Men Days of Future Past contest to announce this week. And also, thanks to our good friends at Zenith Press, we have a brand new giveaway to start. We're going to give away 2 copies of this book of the week, Normandy, A Graphic History of D-Day, and Bombing Nazi Germany. Guys, even if it wasn't D-Day, this would still be book of the week.
Yes.
It was absolutely one of the most phenomenal things I've ever read. It was like reading a textbook, except it was interesting.
Yes.
I gave it to you, and I know you had your doubts.
I had my doubts, because I mean, I love history, but I was like, okay, because I have like a couple hundred books to catch up to, but...
Oh, only a couple hundred?
Yeah, only a couple hundred.
All right.
So I text you when I started reading it.
Yeah.
I was fucking ecstatic. I had to fucking do laundry, and I was pissed off because I couldn't take this to the laundromat with me. And then I came back, and I had to finish it at night, and I just like, oh my God, more.
These books are so factual that, you know, once I got them, my father is a big history buff, loves the Civil War, loves World War II, so I had to give him this one, which was Grant versus Lee and Gettysburg, most famous battle of the Civil War. And when he looked at them, he turns around and he's like, so what are these, like textbooks for kids? It's like, that's great, that's brilliant.
These are great.
My old man does not read comic books, really. I got him on the Lone Ranger by... You know, like I kind of twisted his arm, like, look, Dad, it's the Lone Ranger. You used to watch this when you were a kid. So he reluctantly started to like it. But he finished both of these within like a week or 2. Yeah. I learned so much about D-Day and everything. Like I want to give you a couple of examples here. I marked a few pages in. First of all, I had no idea that, obviously I knew General Patton was big during World War II.
Yeah,
I knew... Just from, you know, I sort of movie back in like high school, they made us watch it and everything.
Wow. Okay.
But I did not know that he had really nothing to do with the D-Day invasion. He actually commanded a fake army.
The decoy army, yeah.
Hitler thought that the invasion into France was going to come from a whole different port, like to
far north of France, yeah.
Northeast or whatever. And he had never expected them to storm Normandy Beach. So Patton's army was in that false area that Hitler thought the invasion was going to come from. And because Patton and Eisenhower were kind of at odds, Patton did something real bad. In this day and age, it's real bad. Back then, he just kind of got a smack on the wrist and said, well, you can't come to play with the big boys anymore for this fight. You're going to sit down.
Yeah.
Right.
He basically benched him for the game. Yeah. He benched him for the big game. That's the equivalent of what happened.
All right.
He has him command a false army of empty tents, rubber tanks and trucks, and cutouts.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So this way, like, if you know, the Luftwaffe or something were flying over, they would see some shit down there in the field. Like, okay, the Allied army's there. Let's, you know, this is where we got to station all of the Nazi troops because this is where the invasion's coming from. So the battle stations at Normandy were basically ill-prepared for the invasion.
Right.
I learned that in this book. There were all sorts of awesome maps that that they drew up to show where the Allies were landing and everything. I don't know if you can get a shot of that, but we'll get a scan of it. And it's all the different beaches, and it's naming each battalion and each division that's going in. The U.S. 82nd Airborne, the 101st Airborne, the British 50th Division, the Canadian 3rd Division, and all the different beaches from like Sword, Juno, Gold, Omaha Beach, all of these different places that they landed on. I actually had I had 2 uncles on my mother's side and 5 on my father's side that stormed Normandy.
Wow.
Crazy. 3 of them were actually arriving the very first day. Only 1 of them came home.
Oh,
Shit.
it's crazy.
I actually still have my Uncle Mikey's Purple Heart and the big canister that my family got the scroll in that said, like, he got killed in combat. It's crazy shit. Really crazy. But, I mean, there was just so much going on in this book from, learning about General Patton to the chapter's called The Devil's Children. It was like the Hitler Brigade, the Hitler Jugend. I know I'm mispronouncing that as Hitler, J-U with the little umlauts over it, G-E-N-D, Hitler Jugend. I have no idea. No idea. And these little frigs, I couldn't wait for these little bastards to get killed, man. They caused so many problems for the Allies. They were like 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids that were just totally brainwashed into, like the Nazi regime and everything. This was crazy.
That was fucked up.
Yeah, this was awesome. It was like, many commanders felt that the debacle should delay the advance. And this was basically talking about how, when the Allied forces would come in and kind of bomb the way for the infantry to move forward, bombs were not always accurate. I mean, they're just being dropped. So if you're in the wrong spot, bombs don't know who the good guys and the bad guys are.
Right.
So unfortunately, Allies got hit.
A lot of friendly fire.
Shit happens.
A lot of friendly fire.
It says 111 men were killed and 490 wounded. Among the dead was Lieutenant General Leslie McNair, the highest-ranking American to die in World War II. Had no idea who this guy ever was. Never learned about him in school or nothing like that. There's so much information in here that you'll never pick up out of a textbook. It was incredible. I learned about the fighting men on Hill 314. It was crazy. Like, they basically had to hold this one town from the Germans before these 2 other flanking armies could get there, and it was basically up to them to hold off an entire battalion. It sucked. Like, this was their plan, was to use this one army as bait, so this way all of the Nazi forces would come in and be able to conquer this one town.
Right.
And never suspect that they were going to get flanked from both sides, but it was going to take like 3-4 days.
Right.
So these guys were it was like, hold them off or don't. You're kind of screwed. We can't get to you, so this is our plan. And it worked, by God, but really there was a lot of casualties, and at one point, it's cited that the German general came over to them under a flag of truce and said, listen, it's a pretty hopeless situation you guys got going here. Why don't you just surrender? There's no harm in it. There's no, loss of pride or anything like that. Honestly, we don't want to have to kill you guys. And they looked at him, spit at him, and said, come and fucking get us. Walked your ass back over there.
You read this and you just feel good about
holy America. It's incredible what these guys did and what they went through during this, X amount of months campaign through France. It was ridiculous. And it ends with the Allied forces making it to Paris and liberating Paris. And then it makes a point of saying, but the Allied campaign was in no way done. You've still got to get into Germany now. And then, it goes into bombing Nazi Germany is actually before that. It's about Britain and everything and whatever. But these books are so all-encompassing. And this guy, Wayne Van Sant, did everything. He illustrated it. He wrote it. He adapted it. So it's very easy to understand. It's not too wordy, and it's just there's names, there's places, there's events that you want to be taking notes as you're reading these things. Yeah. If you're a teacher, this is one of the coolest things you could get for your students. Even if you just get, a couple of copies, and just distributed to your class and like work in groups so you could read it in groups. These are fantastic. I love these things from the Zenith Press. Really did them right. I wish I had these when I was in school, and I probably would have learned a hell of a lot more.
Absolutely.
So that being said, we are going to give away 2 copies each. 2 copies of Normandy, a graphic detail of D-Day, and bombing Nazi Germany. 2 winners for this contest. All you got to do is answer the following question correctly.
Ooh.
Ready? We know that General Dwight Eisenhower was the supreme commander of the entire Allied invasion of Normandy. And he would later be the commander-in-chief of the entire United States.
Yes.
Who did Eisenhower appoint as the ground commander of the invasion? Who was the ground commander of, like, the guy on the field of the entire Normandy invasion?
Okay. That's actually in the book.
Yes, of course it's in the book. This is
it's
information
interesting
that I
stuff,
learned from reading the book.
Yeah.
So I figured it was a completely apropos question.
Ooh, apropos.
Yeah, you like that, right?
Yeah, I do.
2 copies, guys. 2 winners for this contest. It's a brand new Peach Basement contest. Who did General Eisenhower appoint as the ground commander for the Normandy invasion? And speaking of contests, beginnings and endings, finishing out the X-Men Days of Future Past contest. Number 142 signed by Chris Claremont and 141. And the winner is, drumroll, Jamie Murray. You answered the question correctly. Very good, dear. The question was, what was the original name that Stan Lee was kind of tossing around for the X-Men before he settled on X-Men? You answered correctly. The answer was the Merry Mutants.
Yes, keyword Mary.
Merry.
Yeah.
A lot of that is left out of certain websites, but it was in fact the Merry Mutants, and you just got to know Stan Lee back in the 60s to know he was big on alliteration. Peter Parker, Reed Richards,
Scott
Bruce
Summers.
Banner, Scott Summers. The man loved same letter stuff.
J. Jonah
Same
Jameson.
letter.
J. Jonah Jameson, I
Yeah.
rest my case. The Merry Mutants was the original name of the X-Men, and the reason that it was turned down was Stan Lee's editor-in-chief felt that, well, nobody's really going to know what a mutant is, so go with something else. And he actually had to explain what a mutant was in the comic books. I mean, this was a scientific term already, but like 6 people knew it.
Yeah, kids ain't gonna know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in that day and age, the mutant was actually kind of like a deformed, like monstrous type of being. It's
Ignoring
not-
the fact that evolution is here because of mutation, constant
Right.
mutation, but
Yeah.
people hear mutants and they think like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third eyes and
Yeah.
Yeah.
so Jamie, send us your address
Dirty joke,
and we will get your books out to you soon enough. Please allow 6 to 8 weeks for delivery, which is really just a safety for me to get my lazy ass to the post office, honestly. Doesn't take 6 weeks to get to you, it's just I gotta get to the post office, you know? Fucking work's tough. Shit happens. It is what it is. We got time for a quick question?
Actually, we do.
All right, let's answer one.
Is there any way to fix a comic book when pages fall out of it? Nat Giddings.
Ooh, Nat, okay. You have to be very careful with this. If you're looking to submit this to the CGC, be very careful. This is not CGC
Approved.
sanctioned or anything
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, yeah.
This is just one of those home personal tricks to make sure that you submit that book and it doesn't get like a lower grade. It may still, I'm not guaranteeing nothing, but I've done this where you take like a butter knife, something not too sharp,
Yes.
but something that you can wedge underneath and bend the staples back up. And then carefully put the page back on and take that butter knife and bend the staples back down.
Without creasing the spine either.
Right.
It's tough.
Try not to bend the spine over a different section of staple. Do not replace the fucking staple. The CGC guys know when you do that. I got
It's
a
not that
book
hard
come
for them
back
to figure that shit
resto.
out.
I got a book come back resto because it said staples cleaned. I wanted to punch somebody right in the dick for that. Seriously. Staples cleaned? Fuck you guys.
Okay.
So that's really the only way I would say to repair a book is, you know, try to get them staples up and use a butter knife, something not sharp, something you can wedge underneath there that's not really going to damage. Oh, and don't use the blade side of the butter knife. Butter knives will still cut.
Yes.
Yes.
So use the dull side, please. Don't damage your comic book. If it's a new comic, just go buy another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm guessing it's probably Silver Age. So just be careful and see if you can just like place that right back on the thing. Good luck. Godspeed you in your quest. May you have a steady hand. Guys, make sure you tune into the audio show. Please hit us up. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you're interested in these books from Zenith Press. We're going to have a hookup for you in a little while after the contest is over to get yourself a nice discount on these books. Hit us up, facebook.com/Pete's Basement. Follow us on Instagram @Pete's Basement. You can also follow me, Pete from Pete's Basement. Follow us on Twitter for up-to-the-minute reviews and all kinds of funny pictures and stuff like that. And finally, make sure you subscribe to the haul each week so you can see what me and the fellas are buying.
Oh, yeah.
And just in case, you know, maybe we missed something here and there that you want us to review, let us know.
Miss something?
More than happy to review. You don't really miss nothing. It's true. Guys, go download the audio track, and we'll see you next time.
Yay.
Yeah, top it off for you, son.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And we'll just put that back.
Well,
Nope.
No! Look at that! Take a picture of that!
Fucking one drop.